Hey y'all, I hope you're doing well. So today I'm going to show you how to make a very easy chunky cowl using this Bernat Blanket Extra Yarn. So this is a bulky yarn that you're seeing everywhere in the stores. It can range in cost, but you only need one skein of this yarn and a large crochet hook and you can create this project. So if you're looking for something for yourself or a gift for somebody that can be worked up really quickly, less than an hour, this is the project for you because like I said, you use a one skein and one large crochet hook. So this is a 15mm pea size crochet hook, but you can also use even a larger hook if you want. Go ahead and make yourself a slip knot and place that on your crochet hook and just follow along with the screen there if you don't know how to do a slip knot. Okay, once you have your slip knot, go ahead and place it on your large crochet hook. Now, I will say this for my beginners, there is a learning curve of working with very chunky yarn, but once you have it down, it's super easy. So we're going to start by making ourselves a foundation chain of just 10 stitches. So yarn over and then pull through. Yarning over is simply just placing the yarn behind the crochet hook, just wrapping it around until it kind of slides underneath that top portion and then pulling it through the loop that's on the hook. And you're going to do that 10 times. Right. And what we're doing here is we're determining the width. So this project, while very simple to create, you can customize it to whatever. So if you're more of a petite frame or you don't want a really wide cowl, you can change up here. So if you want it to be a little bit thinner, then instead of doing 10, you would do 8 or 6. So just kind of see how wide you want it. And because this works up so quickly, you really can make it. And if you don't like it, redo it. Not a big deal. So once you have your foundation chain complete, I'm just showing you here your stitches that you're going to be working back through. So just identify the second stitch from the hook. So remember, you don't count the first one. So the second one over, you're going to do a half double crochet stitch. So I'll show you how to do a half double crochet stitch if you don't already know how to do that. So I'm doing it here, but I'll walk you through it in just a second. So you want to yarn over. So now you have 2 loops on your hook. Insert that in through the loop, through the stitch. You should have 3 loops. Yarn over, and then you're going to pull through all 3. That's called a half double crochet stitch. And I'm going to stay on camera and I'll do a few more here with you. So yarn over, insert your crochet hook into the next stitch. You'll have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. And so just watch that a few times because that's literally the same stitch we're going to do through this entire project. And excuse me, the main thing here, you all, is you just want to make sure you can identify your stitches, but don't give up if you can't, because once you get this initial row done, all the other rows are super easy. So don't get bogged down in it. You just kind of pull your yarn apart a little bit and you can really feel and see the hole. Place your crochet hook right through that hole and then you'll be able to work through it, okay? Because really the first row of the foundation chain is the hardest to work back through, and this is where a lot of new crocheters get discouraged. But honestly, if you keep pushing through, you'll see that your project will work up a lot easier once you get past this initial row, okay? So work all the way until you get to the very end, creating half double crochet stitches. I had a total of 9, counting the first one. So I had a total of 9. You're going to chain 2 and then turn your work. Turning your work is just flipping it over so that you're working in the same direction. In that very first stitch right there, because I don't want a large hole, I'm going to go ahead and make my first half double crochet stitch. So typically that chain of 2 would count as your first half double crochet stitch. In this case, it's not. We're going to create another one. So just go ahead and do half double crochet stitches all the way back down this row in every single stitch, okay? See there? So if you just kind of give it a pull, just kind of pull your work apart a little bit, you can really see where you need to place your crochet hook. Okay, and right there in that last one. All right, now you want to go ahead and count your stitches. This is when I say count your stitches, just count over until you should have 9. Your first row should also have 9, okay? And you're going to keep that same number throughout your project. Now, listen, let me just say, if you have 8 stitches for some reason, you can start over and get it right, or just remember that every subsequent row, you need to have 8 stitches. So when I say count your stitches, you want to make sure that you have the same number of stitches from row to row, okay? So again, I'm just showing you quickly on camera. You've chained 2, you've turned your work, and now you're just going to do half double crochet stitches all the way down, and you should have a total of 9 that you created, okay? So just keep working, you all. I'm going to stay on camera just a little bit longer, but this is pretty much the crux of this project, and then I'm going to show you how we put everything together. And see, I'm just giving it a little count to make sure that I'm still have the same number of stitches from row to row. Chain 2, turn your work, very first stitch, just continue working, okay? Looking good. It's going to be so nice and cozy, you guys. This is the neatest yarn. All right, so this is what it should be looking like as you're working. What we're creating at this point is the length. You've already created your width. We're creating the length. So that's the part that's going to be wrapping around your neck. So I did a total of 23 rows. Again, customizable project. If you want it to be a little bit more snug, you would just do less rows. So if you want it to be a little snugger, do 21 rows or 22 rows, okay? Once you have your desired length to complete it, you're going to finish off your work. So that's just yarning, cut the yarn over, and pull through. Leave yourself a nice long tail because we're going to sew everything together with a large plastic needle, okay? Well, actually, I think in this case I used my hands. I'm going to show you how I did it, okay? So just like that, you're going to fold your work in half, and we're going to use that long tail, and we're going to stitch this project up. And because we're using a super bulky yarn, I think this is 7 bulk yarn, you can really do this with your hands. Okay, so all I'm doing is I'm just identifying holes closest to the edge, and I'm just going to weave the yarn through, essentially just sewing it. So you could use a sewing needle if you want. You can use your crochet hook if you want, but because of the chunky yarn and the wide holes that were created with the large crochet hook, I'm able to just sew it using my hand. So you can just follow along with me on the screen. I'll show it a little bit on camera. All right. So I'll say project created in about 45 minutes, an hour for a newer crocheter. The hardest part of this project is just working with the yarn and getting used to the yarn. Here's a tip here. If you don't want to just use your fingers, you can put a stitch marker on the end of the yarn and use that to kind of weave through. What I found when I was using my fingers is the yarn was so chunky, it was hard to identify the end. So I just added a little stitch marker and used that to sew through. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You can, however you want to get it sewed up. Okay, and this is what it's looking like, guys. This is pretty much it. Such a big chunky yarn, very forgiving. So if you make any mistakes, no one's gonna be able to tell really, because the yarn is so, chunky, so thick. Okay, and it's very cozy. Now where I live, I'll never be able to really fully take advantage of this, the softness and the warmth that this shawl gave, or this cowl gave. But if you live in a cold weather state, this is perfect, guys, perfect. So this is what it looks like all finished, and I'm going to show you what it looks like when I put it on. Okay, so here it is. Super cozy, guys. I love this. I love this cowl. So that's it. Any questions, leave them down in my comment section down below, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.